Excellent. Okay. Well, let me know as I go if I'm advancing the slides right, because sometimes I have a bit of problem with that. So I'm going to talk to you about MECP's groundwater programs and where the Provincial Groundwater Monitoring Network, or PGMN, as it is commonly called, is at after 25 years. There's a lot of slides, so I may skip through some fairly quickly, hopefully a little quicker than Haze and Dig. The deck will also be available on NRCan's website at some point in the not too distant future, or you can email me at my email address, which I understand is with the abstract. So if you want to talk to somebody about some of the slides, or if you want a copy, just let me know. Can you see the second slide now?
Yes.
Great, excellent. Ontario's commitment to groundwater protection. Ontario protects its waters for current and future generations. Groundwater is a vital resource that supports communities, Indigenous cultural and traditional practices, and healthy ecosystems. It sustains agriculture, industry, development, and recreational activities across the province. More than 2.5 million Ontarians rely on groundwater for their drinking water, and over 1.6 million of these are on private wells. So essentially, protecting groundwater is essential to the long-term prosperity of the province, the economic growth, environmental health, and community resilience. MECP delivers a wide range of groundwater programs that support sustainable water management and informed decision-making across the province. Regions provide frontline expertise for approvals, compliance, complaints, mitigation, abatement, advice, and support policy and guidance development. So as you can see, they have their fingers in everything and are the front line and probably the biggest component of us. This map on the left shows all the different places that tech support have reviewed files since we started tracking digitally their information. So they are a key component of the work we do. Environmental Assessment and Permissions Division and the Science and Standards Division support wastewater, brownfields, contaminated sites, permit to take water program, and policy development and advice. Land and Water Division leads groundwater related policy and programs related to source protection. An Environmental Science and Standards Division also manages the water well licensing and records, the provincial scale ambient groundwater monitoring, and the Canada-Ontario Agreement on Great Lakes Groundwater Annex. And many ministries, including your hosts, the mines or OGS, play an important role in groundwater science and management in Ontario. As you are aware, source protection is a multi-barrier approach regulated under the Clean Water Act and supported by your conservation authority friends online and multi-stakeholder source protection committees and scientists to protect municipal drinking water through assessment and planning. This includes wellhead protection areas, vulnerability mapping, and threats assessment and management, all with significant groundwater components, with plans updated as communities grow and new systems are built or expanded. All source protection information is publicly available via the Source Protection Information Atlas and on local conservation authority websites. Two new proposals recently posted on the Environmental Registry to accelerate and modernize how drinking water sources are protected include reducing plan amendment delays, changing how plan policies will affect permits, and licenses to manage risks and report to source protection authorities. So for those of you outside of the source protection world, if you're interested in that information, you can go to the you can Google that and find it on the Environmental Registry. Another tool that's not necessarily commonly known that's provided by your source protection team is the best practices for source water protection, designed to help communities and landowners not covered by the Clean Water Act, so that they too can protect their drinking water sources. And that's available on the ministry website. You can just Google it. It comes up easily. I've done it myself. Now I will move on to the WELLS program, which is here at Environmental Monitoring and Reporting Branch where I work. The objectives of the WELLS program are to ensure protection of supplies, groundwater resources, and public health by regulating all aspects of the well and its life. It's also another purpose is to collect hydrogeological data for understanding and managing resources, and geological as well, of course, and ensure consumer protection by proper construction of wells and ensuring that wells are managed in such a way as they don't get contaminated. The ministry's wells team here at EMRB licenses well contractors, well technicians, and assistant well technicians. They maintain and make available the water well records and data both through the Ontario Open Data and through the Ontario Wells Help Desk. The information to contact the Wells Help Desk is provided up in the top right corner of this blue box. It's a useful tool to have and to know that you can contact them. They also provide information on wells in general, licensing and regulatory requirements. You can report complaints or information on poor water quality. You can obtain materials associated with wells and well tags, and water well owner packages if you have a client who's got a new water well. So there's lots of information available here. I'm just touching a little bit on each program. There's much more available online, and you can also contact individual people to find out more about any of the programs if you'd like to. The Permit to Take Water program is provided by Environmental Assessments and Permissions Branch or Division. A permit to take water is a legal mechanism to implement the ministry's water quantity management policy. Surface and groundwater quantity are to be managed to ensure fair sharing, conservation, and sustainability of the resource. I'll talk a bit more about this on the next slide. I won't go through each of these individually, but they are covered there. I'm focusing a bit on the hydro-G aspects since this is the audience. So talking about application for Category 3 permits, which require supporting hydrogeological and or surface water studies prepared by a qualified person. The permit team at Permissions, once that obtains, reviews these to ensure that the requirements and objectives are met. They look to identify and characterize source and takings, or to make sure that these are met, are adequate. Characterization of the setting, identification of surface water features and local users, the assessment of baseline conditions and potential long-term impacts, including to the ecosystem and other units and our users, and ensure that the application provides mechanism to limit impacts. Supporting studies are reviewed. We go back to the tech support folks. They're the ones who review the supporting studies and consider the findings of these to determine whether the proposed taking is likely to result in an acceptable impact. They also take into account all comments received. So ministry technical staff, after reviewing, will recommend monitoring, mitigation, or contingency plans to be included if they deem them necessary. And the director will not issue the permit until they are satisfied that the proposed taking is unlikely to result in unacceptable impacts. So a number of you will work on permit and maybe know some of this, but perhaps others are less familiar. If you want more information, there is lots available. The brownfield The Brownfield and Hydrogeology section manage and review records of site condition or RSC submissions. This includes site assessment, investigations, remediation, and risk management. I'm not going to go into all the details on these because those of you who work in this area know them. And those of you who don't can perhaps get some of this information. But regulatory compliance and reporting of records of site condition and the review of those is the key aspect of what the staff do in that section. So the Brownfields hydrogeologists review phase 2 assessments supporting RSC filings to prove a site is safe for its intended use. The program ensures soil and groundwater meets established provincial standards for specific exposure pathways, such as volatilization to indoor air or discharge to surface water or potentially impacts to local water users. They provide professional hydrology opinions to support legal proceedings and regulatory approvals. So like all the hydrology staff, they're a key component of the ministry's role to protect groundwater. Now I get into the part that is most recently near and dear to my heart, and also that is where I work now. The Provincial Groundwater Monitoring Network. I saw on Hazen's slide that he has 1948 or something. Maybe it was 68. There was historically a water level monitoring network that was established by the Ontario Water Resources Commission. There were a couple iterations of that, but by the time the PGMN was established in 2000, those monitoring networks didn't exist anymore. We do have data in historical files, so it can be dug up if somebody wants it. Some of it is published online by Mr. Pigott from Environment Canada, who has long gone, but was excellent at pulling that information together. So there is a report on that already out there and easily accessible. So established in 2000 in response to the 1999 drought and the Walkerton tragedy, PGMN turned 25 in 2025. The network includes 480 wells across the province that monitor groundwater levels hourly, water quality sampled once or twice a year or every other year, depending on the specific well conditions. Precipitation and conductivity, continuous hourly conductivity will be added at 35 wells in 2026. Wells chosen will be based similarly to those wells that we have in our spring sampling program, based on a history of impacts of nitrate or chloride. Even within an ambient network, you get some anthropogenic impacts. So that's kind of exciting for us to have the new real-time conductivity. And near real-time water level data is available for about 171 wells right now. And we've just purchased some more telemetry, so that should increase. Some CAs have this data available, like GRCA, and I think maybe Rito and a couple others live on their websites. We will get there eventually, but we're not there now. As you know, PGMN is a partnership between the CAs, the Severn Sound Environmental Association of 8 municipalities, and their requirements, historically done through an agreement since 2021, have been regulated under the Conservation Authority Regulation 68621, Mandatory Programs and Services Regulation. The objectives of the network, tied to what Hazen flagged, is to track ambient groundwater quality and quantity, identify trends and correlate to key factors influencing groundwater conditions, to provide background data and support decision-making related to water management, environmental approvals, compliance policy, standards development, and public health policy and outreach, and to provide a framework of groundwater information to enable detailed studies and modeling on issues of concern. Partners look after the sampling, data collection, and well equipment and management, maintenance, replacement, and repair. The ministry provides sort of overall direction and oversight, including administration, funding, infrastructure, and equipment, guidance, and coordinates meetings. And we also manage some wells that are outside the border of CA partners. Since 2025, the program has expanded, or the groundwater monitoring program has expanded to cover quite a lot. The underlying objectives of the program haven't changed. However, the monitoring network and related monitoring initiatives continue to evolve over time to support an improving understanding of groundwater's role in climate change, groundwater surface water interaction, and sustaining the waters and ecosystems of the Great Lakes. So as you can see here, we've moved from not just the PGMN, but we also look after the COA. We're starting to do some work to support Ontario low water response. We have an integrated water and climate change monitoring network of 7 stations across the province where surface water, groundwater, climate are all monitored, and they're tied to the national flow network, so locations in the federal network, so that we're getting quality and quantity for everything. We also, since 2013, have had a peat pour monitoring network in the Ring of Fire to establish baseline water levels, conductivity, and water quality. And like all the other hydrologies within the ministry, we provide expert advice primarily internally, but also to other ministries and when requested to federal or other groups. A little bit about, I'm just going to talk about one aspect each of the quality and quantity because we're quite time limited. I believe I've probably gone over my time now. I'm almost done. So in terms of water quality, one of the big things we deal with is our exceedance protocol, where we support public health. The water quality data is available at Ontario Open Data up to December 2024. We're posting annually right now. New and or anthropogenic exceedances of a health-rated related drinking water quality standard are reported to public health within 2 days. And we provide lots of supporting information for them. You can see that here. This one is arsenic. It's interesting because the standard changed partway through the monitoring period. I won't go into more detail, but again, this is available on the slide. In terms of water quantity, PGMN water level data again is posted up to December 2024 and will be updated in the summer. Long-term data can be used to track changes in water level seasonally and over time, and this is a good example in this graph. In terms of where we're going next, we're working towards more live data and more statistics similar to what BC has available on their site. So we were able to this year support low water response and some drought aspects in Eastern Ontario. In fact, PGMN, Rideau Conservation, and the City of Ottawa were able to present near real-time data at Health Canada's Private Wells Workshop in the fall of 2025. And this graph here shows you with max, mins, long-term averages. And the intent is that this coming summer, you should be able to, the graph in the top right, you should be able to go into our open website and look at any well and see what the long-term averages look like compared to this year or any other year you want to look at. So that's an improvement coming down. And there is a long sheet of links to various data and people who also publish our data. So that is available to anybody and will be in the slide deck that becomes available. Thank you very much. And sorry, I've gone a bit over time.